I'm afraid to knock on the door. I'm afraid of what they're going to say if I call them. I'm angry at myself because I didn't do what I said I was going to do. I'm anxious because what if they say yes? Like, what if I'm successful? Sometimes the fear of success is greater than the fear of failure. Awesome. Well, good morning, everyone. I appreciate each and every one of you for showing up for yourselves this Monday morning. We are very grateful and appreciative that you are lending us your time. And who here had a great Thanksgiving, spent time with family? I know I did. And so I hope you did as well. And this upcoming season, this month of December, is definitely one where a lot of us spend a lot of time with family and friends. And we've got the holiday parties and the get togethers and all these things that are coming up. And these are great opportunities for you guys to actually get in front of people and share your heart with them, be able to offer your service and be of service, not just in real estate, but in general, right? And so when it comes to these things, sometimes we have that inner voice. Some may call it a gremlin, some may call it the little devil on the shoulder, right? Whatever it may be for you, is how many of us here like are you really your own biggest critic? Like you kind of judge yourself, you're like, no, I don't I did really well, but it wasn't good enough. I wasn't perfect. There's always something you could have done better. And who would really like to learn how to silence that critic, that negative self-talk, that things that you just don't want to talk to yourself? You want to stop, you really, really do, but you just can't seem to. And so, who here is really ready to conquer themselves and conquer their own mind and really master themselves? And really, I know Karen's like two hands, right? Because we really want to move ourselves to that next level. And so I'm going to start off today with a couple of quotes because one, I love quotes. To me, they're just a great way to capture whatever topic or subject. And so I have three here today. So the first one is from Jim Abbott, who is an MLB pitcher. And he says, I worked very hard. I felt I could play the game. The only thing that could stop me was myself. Right? And then for Olga Korbut, she was an Olympic gold medalist in gymnastics. And she said the ability to conquer oneself is no doubt the most precious of all things sports bestows on us. And Rafael Colon, he said, to achieve anything you want in life, you must first start by getting out of your own way, right? Everything we do starts in our mind. Our thoughts lead to our words, leads to our actions, leads to our beliefs, leads to our values. Everything we do starts in the mind. A lot of times it also can end with the mind, right? We can talk ourselves out of doing whatever it is that we want to do. And so a lot of times we refer to this as self sabotage, which is really means just defeating oneself. We get in our way with three things: fears, doubts, and self condemning nature. Right. And so who here knows someone that does not give themselves enough credit when they do well? Right? Or maybe someone that beats themselves up when they do poorly and it gets them out. And like now they're down for the count for the next 2 weeks because they can't seem to let go of, man, I really blew that listing appointment. I don't know. I can't take that listing appointment. I'm not going to go door knock because I don't want to sit in front of someone. I don't want to mess that up too because I clearly didn't do this right. I don't know what I'm doing. It's this cycle that once we start down the path, it's going to keep going. It's like that snowball effect. And I heard it put this way once, that for every one negative thing you say, you need to say 17 positive things, right? For every negative thing. That's why, like, when it comes
17 to
to,
offset one, AJ?
yes, right? So if you say, I suck, you now have to tell yourself 17 times that you can, that you are worthy, that you're capable, that you can do it. Because what ends up happening is that one negative thought leads to the next negative thought, leads to the next negative thought. There's a reason it does not take a whole lot of energy to transfer electrons, which is negative energy from one person to the next. Yet, if you were to split an atom and remove and separate the positive, there's an explosion. So it takes way more force to separate and like pull the positive and transfer positive. So when it comes to your own mind and your own energy, mastering your thoughts and framing everything in the positive. is extremely crucial to your success and how you feel about yourself, how you think, and all of these things, right? And so there's this thing out there called the self consistency theory, right? It says that the way we act is consistent to our self image. So, what do you really think about yourself? How do you see yourself? When you look in the mirror, do you think, I don't like that hair right there? I don't like that freckle. I have a little scar here. I got those bags under my eyes. I don't like that. I don't want to look at myself. Do you see someone who looks tired? Or do you see yourself as someone that you love, you cherish? You're like, man, you worked hard today. Man, you're looking good. Those gray hairs, those are signs of wisdom. I've earned those. Right? Whatever the case may be, is you can turn it into a positive thing, right? And really use that to fuel yourself, to propel yourself forward, and use it as a stepping stone to that next level. And so, who here feels like they have made progress in embodying their self or their vision of their version of themselves, right? You want to, like, who you were January 1, 2022, probably not who you are December 5th, 2022. So who are you going to be December 1st, 2023? Who are you going to be December 5th, 2023? You have to know where you want to go and consistently tell yourself what that's going to be, right? So I'm curious if you guys would love to share is like, how do you view yourself? What is your self-image as it is today?
Come on, guys. Let's cooperate. Let's interact. How do you guys view yourselves today?
Really dig deep, guys. Like this, sometimes it can be negative and it's buried so deep in there that you really you know what it is, but you don't want to verbalize it. But we need to locate where we're at. If we don't acknowledge where we're at, we can't get to where we want to go. Right? We need to take that first step and say, hey, I'm here. I honor myself. I thank myself for what's gotten me to here. And I know what's gotten me here isn't going to get me there. So I'm curious.
So the question is, say it once more in case anybody's.
Absolutely. So how do you view yourself? What is your self-image as it is today?
Come on, ladies. Adriana, Anna, Lorena. Okay, let me try going first. Where do I view myself? Let's say now in December versus January. So the market is completely separate, and unfortunately, sometimes I tend to view myself as a reflection of what I accomplish, not necessarily who I am, but what I accomplish or my goals. So it's interesting because I was able to hit my business goals, and now it's kind of slowed down so I can breathe, but I'm already in my mind thinking, okay, that's great for this year. What about next year? Because like you said, right now, anything we do now isn't really going to reflect until probably February. So it's interesting because I was talking to somebody recently, and I was telling them how I've worked harder these last few months that I haven't had a lot of business than when I had a lot of business, which is funny enough because I'm in generating mode. And at Friday, I must have gotten 4 or 5 calls on different businesses that I wasn't expecting. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So it's kind of the fruits of what I've been doing. So I view myself as, I guess, the bottom line is, okay, you know what? It was a pretty good year. I'm proud of what I did, getting ready for next year, and thankful for the breather that I got. I don't know if that's what you were looking for, AJ, or
Perfect. I love
okay.
that because guess what? Nothing was about how you view yourself. It was all about things you've done,
It was all in my head again.
right? And so the best part is like, who are you? What is your self-image? When you look at yourself, what do you see? I see when I look at Karen, a powerhouse, a woman who has got compassion and drive and tenacity and perseverance and a mind that is so keen that she is going to make it happen. That's what I see. That's her image
Where's the
in
little
my
hearts on this so I can send them to you?
eyes, right?
Thank you.
I don't see Karen as her accomplishments. I see Karen as who she is. That's how we view people. That's our image of others. So what is your image of yourself? Right? It's easier so often to see greatness in others than it is to see the greatness within you. And, I have a gentleman who called me this weekend and was like, "Hey, I have this ticket for you for this event and I want you to go. Will you accept?" Hands down, absolutely. He spent $250 for me to go. He called me afterwards and said, "By the way, you didn't know that's going to come at a price. I'm going to have you do X, Y, and Z. You have to do this. You have to report to me." And he's going to hold me accountable.
Mhm.
Right. And he said, "Because I see all of these things in you." And as he was telling me what he saw, I was like, I don't know that I view myself that way, but I appreciate it. And I had to stop myself and look like, what would happen if I really did believe that about myself? What would I actually be able to achieve? How would I show up differently if I believed what he sees in me to be that true? Because clearly it's there. Like he sees it, he's experiencing it. And so I encourage you guys to spend some time. If you have to do it in front of a mirror, you grab a piece of paper, you journal this, think about who you are and how you see yourself and how you see yourself at the end of next year and start embodying that today, because come March, June, you may be that person and you're like, "Oh, hey, now I've achieved that. Now what's that next step?" And you're taking that next step to always be one step better and working towards that, because as you think, so you shall be, right? They say thoughts are things. So if we think we're a powerhouse, we think we're confident, we think that we're a closing machine, we're going to show up as if we're that. We have no other choice, right? But so often we have these little gremlins that show up on our shoulders. And the most common ones that we experience are fear, anger, anxiety. We become self conscious. We get a little perfectionist at times, maybe a little bit stubborn. Sometimes we lack the motivation. I can't get out of I can't get out of bed. I can't turn my camera on because my hair's just not done. I look a little mess. I just got done with the gym. I don't want people to see me. I'm a little self-conscious, or maybe you're just not feeling very competitive and like, I just haven't accomplished any of my goals lately. I don't think I can compete this month because I didn't do well last month. I didn't do anything I said I was going to do. Or the distractions. Hello, holidays. We got all the parties, all the events, all the things that are coming up. Is it going to be a distraction, or is it going to be an asset for you to go and network, communicate with people, get yourself out there, let them know what you do or what you can do, help them dream. Like one of the best things you can do at this time is, hey, what's your vision for 2023? What's your vision for the next 5 years? Hey, by the way, how can I support you? Oh, you want your business to 10x? You want a new location? Well, have you thought about purchasing that building instead of leasing? What would have to happen for you to make that happen? Let's sit down and talk. Now you turned, what was this, a casual conversation into a prospecting opportunity for you to sell a multi-million-dollar building because it's what is it, the commercial, and we just had our commercial guy a couple weeks ago. You've got the resources now at your fingertips to make those things happen, right? And the last thing is persistence. So whatever's going on, all of our negative self-talk is going to fall into one of those categories. I'm afraid to knock on the door. I'm afraid of what they're going to say if I call them. I'm angry at myself because I didn't do what I said I was going to do. I'm anxious because what if they say yes? Like, what if I'm successful? Sometimes the fear of success is greater than the fear of failure. So we intentionally make ourselves fail because we're afraid to succeed, right? And so I want you guys to really jot down and spend some time over the next couple days, the next week, anytime that you have a negative self-talk, and it's going to sound like a not is going to be in the phrase, like, I'm not going to, I can't, I shouldn't, I want to, but I want to, but this is more important. Is it really? Or is it just you don't want to work? You just want to have fun, right? And so really write those things down and you can become aware of those things. For me, I journal almost every single day. I go through my journal, my day, what things did I say to myself, what questions did I ask myself, and really become aware of the language that we use, because the language we use are the thoughts that we have, because we can't speak something that we don't think first, right? And so with that, does anyone have any questions or would like to share their most common gremlin or the most common negative self-talk or sabotaging thing that they tend to do?
Come on, guys. Anybody want to share? I think we got all the shy ones on here.
No worries. But I want
And they're not shy, but yeah, it comes to sharing that.
us to think about this one thing,
Mhm.
right? When it comes to how we talk to ourselves, I want you to think about talking to a child. If you give a child a set of crayons or markers and you say, I'm going to leave the room and I'm going to come right back, do not draw on the walls. What's going to happen when you come back? There's going to be drawing on the walls. Why? Our unconscious minds cannot, they are incapable of processing negatives. Meaning, all the child heard was draw on the walls,
Mhm.
right? So when you tell yourself, I want you to think about every single time you've ever told yourself, do not do blank. Do not forget to take the coffee, or do not forget to grab this in the morning. Do not, whatever it is, and how often do you actually forget the thing or do the thing you say not to do?
Imagine, do not forget the prospect.
Right?
Mhm. Yeah.
So we get to reframe that and tell ourselves, I will remember, I am prospecting today. Because we also want to be careful of the I wills, right? I will says in the future. And guess what? The future never is. The
Mhm.
future's never in the present. I will prospect today. No, you won't. If you say, I am prospecting today, you will. I
You hear
will
that,
make,
guys? I am, I am versus I will. That's a powerful one. I am prospecting. I am generating business. I am a powerhouse. It's
yep.
versus I will be. That's excellent.
And as we think of 2023, I will make 150,000 a year. I will make 250,000 a year. No, you won't. You won't. If you say, I am making that money this year, and you're convicted and you're committed, I promise you, you will.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And if you say you want it, have you done it? Then you don't want it, right? And the reason that all we don't achieve our goals is because of those little gremlins. There's some ounce of fear that shows up. We might get a little angry. Maybe there's some anxiety, some self-conscious thoughts. I'm not dressed well enough. I can't sell $1 million house. I'm just in a polo. Right? I promise you guys, you can sell $1 million house in a polo. Right? Like it's not about how you look. It's about how you show up. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I've seen Karen dressed like she is and just be like closing deals left and right because of who she is and what comes out of her mouth. Right? Not
That's,
what she's wearing. Right?
that's
When you look at these multimillionaires, they're not out wearing $100,000 suits. They're not
usually
wearing,
in shorts.
they're in shorts and board shorts and flip flops and a $5 tee from Target.
Yep.
Right? They're not impressed with the things that money can buy. They're impressed with actually who you are, what you value, and what comes out of your mouth. And are you who you say you are? And will you do what you say you will do?
Mm-hmm.
And the things that stop us are these things here: fear, anger, anxiety, self-consciousness, perfectionism, stubbornness, lack of motivation, competitiveness, distractions, persistence, right?
And guys, I'm gonna say something. If we can't get past the fear, the issues with self confidence, those are big ones for women, especially. I think where I'm not wearing this, I don't look this, I'm not gonna do it. I'll do it later, and then later never happens. It's gonna make a huge difference in our goals and what we achieve and what we say that we achieve are going to achieve versus what we actually do. So that I think those are big ones, even in as little as like I was like, you know what, my hair is a mess. I just finished working out, but I'm gonna show up. I know AJ wants me on the camera. I'm gonna turn on that camera, and I'm gonna talk. And even if what I say is correct or incorrect, it doesn't matter because we're all here for the same purpose to make each one better and get closer to our goals.
Absolutely. And I promise you guys, when you decide that you want to show up, you will. But I would go as far as to say the way you show up on this calls is exactly how you show up in your business.
Yeah.
You make an excuse for you not to have your camera on, to not participate. You probably make an excuse not to prospect or not call that client or not do something.
Yeah.
So when is now the time to take that gremlin and say, thank you, I appreciate what you're trying to do here. You're trying to protect me. That's all it is. It's that inner voice trying to keep you from disappointment, from experiencing pain, whatever it may be. But you get to thank it, bless it, set it to the side and say, I'm going to do it anyways.
Yeah.
Right. So I encourage you guys that I thank you for showing up. I want you guys to show up for yourselves at a whole new level for 2023.
I love it. I love it. And AJ, thank you for this, because guys, listen to this message, listen to it again, really self-examine where you're at, where you want to be, and how you're going to get there. And then start doing it right now. Like every day I sit here sometimes and I'm like, oh gosh, I have this mountain, but I chip at it. Literally, that's what I say. Well, I'm going to chip at it. And when I start chipping at it, then it gets really weird because then you start doing more and more and more. And next thing you know, I'm like, wow, I made some real headway. But if I hadn't sat there and said, I know it's a mountain, I'm going to chip at it, I would have never even started because it's a mountain. Guys, that's huge. And that's one thing I've learned. Just, we had a manager that used to say this, and Adriana might remember who it is. He used to say, Karen, how do we eat an elephant? And I'm like, how do we eat an elephant? How do we eat the elephant? It's like one bite at a time. Like, yeah, one bite at a time. So, AJ.
Absolutely. And I will leave you with this one last thought, guys. Sometimes the way we talk about ourselves or talk to ourselves might not be so bad, but how we talk to others under our breath, F that person. That person sucks. You suck. You are stupid. You're dumb. What does your unconscious mind not know? That you're talking to somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you're talking to someone else, you say, I'm not talking to myself. I don't talk to myself like that. Look at how you talk to other people. In here, you might not actually verbalize it, but if you think you're an idiot, you're stupid, you're really telling yourself that you're the idiot and you're stupid. And it will have an impact sooner or later if it hasn't already. So we really want to make sure that we master our thoughts, our mind, and we keep everything in the positive. Eliminate the can'ts, the don'ts, the won'ts, the shouldn'ts, anything that has a not in it. Please take a moment, write it down, and think about how can I reframe this or re-say this as a positive statement for myself and my future. And so I will leave you guys with that. I know we're right about the half hour, so I would thank you guys for showing up. If you have questions, I would encourage you guys to come off mute and share them. Any thoughts, questions, comments, concerns, whatever came up for you, we would love to hear it. And if you aren't live and you want to drop it in the chat later on, we would love to hear you do that as well.
Anybody have any questions, comments, concerns?
No, thank you, AJ.
All right. AJ, again, thank you so much. Guys, this is wisdom for our business. If we can't get our mind straight, we're not going to get to our goals. So I encourage all of you to really engage to the fullest of your potential, because it makes a huge difference. AJ, thank you so much.
You're very welcome. I love you guys.
All right. You have an awesome time, and we'll be talking again, guys. All right.